Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do my makeup but with paintbrushes only. I don't know how different this is actually going to be to do my normal makeup with normal brushes, but let's give it a go. Okay, so the paintbrushes I have actually these kids paintbrushes, a pack of 15 for £2 that I just picked up from my local works. I didn't know whether to cheat too much in this or not because it has got some sponges in there which I thought could kind of be used for foundation maybe, but I'll give it a try with the brushes first and see how that goes. At the moment I actually use a beauty blender type style one. I think it's from the Body Works, I'm not sure what it's called, but I've actually got a beauty blender I use normally at the moment, as well as like a face brush, which once again I use for like a 3-in-1, so I kind of use to put my bronzer and my blusher on as well, and sometimes my highlighter. And then I kind of have my eyeshadow brushes, which I have a few more of, and I use for different things for the eyes. And then I have a highlighter brush, and also like it's not necessarily an eyebrow brush, it comes in a little palette that I use with my eyebrows, but it's a little tiny one, slightly slanted and very thin, so I can do my eyebrows with as well. But obviously I'm not using any of those ones today. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do with these paintbrushes instead. Okay, so just opened up the pack and I'm just going to see what type of brushes we've got in here and what we could use for different things. First of all, the sponges, like I said, I'm not too sure if I'm going to use them yet, so I'll just pop them to one side, but they'd be kind of good for either concealer under the eye or actually doing your foundation with as well. Just put those to one side. Okay, then we've got the bigger brushes. This one's a bit more of a typical sort of paintbrush when you think of like painting big time as well for that. I think that's a 1 inch it says there on the side, but that's the biggest one we've got in the pack. Next up are these two. Once again, they're quite chunky, very sort of round in style as well, slightly sort of thick, so I suppose I could use those for my face for something. And then we have a variation of smaller ones. These ones, again, these got black bristles, so I think these are probably made of a slightly different material to these. They're not as like stiff for those ones. They also haven't got too much of like any sort of definition to it, so I think it's going to be hard to actually try and do anything with these. But again, maybe like an eyeshadow or a powder I could use for these ones. And then these ones are something that I could use for either a lip brush, like eyebrows, any eyeliner or anything as well. So these are the thinner ones here. Once again, I can use for more like detail because they are a bit stiffer. It's probably a bit easier to make something with. Okay, so first I'm going to go in with foundation. I'm using the Rainforest of the Sea foundation by Tarte in the colour Fair Neutral. I thought I'd use this one because I haven't actually used it in a while. I don't want to waste too much of my one I actually use now. But this one does have a dropper top as well, so I thought it might be easier to apply. I think it might be easier to apply and actually put onto the paintbrush as well. So I don't know how to put it onto the back of my hand to start off with. I think that is a problem with this one. It is a bit runny. It is a bit hard to actually get hold of. Like I've really got it on my other fingers here as well. But I do really like this foundation. I like the finish to it. I did really research this one as well when I first bought it. I think I'm going to go in with this brush here. It's the second largest brush. Okay, so I've got my mirror because I did kind of forget to bring one over here. But here we go. Just going to put this, it's quite runny, onto my face. I don't see this going very well at all. Like it's quite already. So it's scratchy because obviously it's not like a soft paintbrush at all or anything. Let's do the big one first for fun. Let's just see what this one goes like. It's definitely a thicker application compared to what the other one, but I suppose as well because it's a flat brush it probably is putting the product out a bit more, but it is very streaky, which once again is expected of a paintbrush. Okay, so next I'm going to try the sponge. Yep, so I've just put the foundation straight onto the sponge there. I don't think it's going to, and I should have probably put it on the other side, but this is even more scratchy. Let's try and dab it in. I haven't actually used this foundation in a while though, so I don't really remember what the finish was like too much. I'm going to dab this in as much as I can and then move on to the next step. But it does get slightly better as you dab it in. I think for this one it came with a brush, like a double-ended Tarte brush, and I think I used that for a lot of time to be honest, so maybe that's the consistency of the foundation. Like it's made more for a brush. Like, you know, you can use a beauty blender. I think this is the best I'm going to get it, so I'm going to leave it for now. Then I'm going to go in with my concealer. On a normal day, I don't actually use concealer too much. I usually use a higher coverage foundation, so it tends to cover everything. So I might go with this slightly flatter brush here. Just take it off the end of the wand. Get it all covered. And usually for concealer too, I only kind of put it underneath my eyes. I don't really know how much to cover acne and stuff at the moment. Plus this is a much lighter shade. So we'll see. So just to blend this in, hopefully. So I'm then taking some of the product down further, just to brighten this whole area here as well. Next, with the concealer, I think I'm just going to go with a brush and try and blend it out. It is my sister's concealer, and she did say kind of you do have to work quickly with it, so maybe I have left it too long. It actually looks like it's coming together quite well. There's a few little lines left where I'd use the brush, but just trying to blend that out now. Technically, am I cheating on this because I'm using a sponge? Maybe, but it's actually in my set, so I'm gonna just go with it. Oh no, I don't have a powder brush. That's the only brush I haven't used yet. So I could try using that for a powder brush. Maybe I just use the end of that because it was the side that I used before. Ow. Ow. The end is actually really pointy and sharp, which I guess I should have thought because it actually is like a paintbrush, isn't it? So I'm going to carefully dab under my eyes. Maybe I might just skip powder. So there's possibly just adding more foundation to my skin as well as the powder, so maybe that's making it 10 times worse. But here we go. So next I'm going to do bronzer and blush. I've actually got this Hoola palette, and it's got the Hoola California blush, now which is like a corally sort of orangey blush, and then a What's Up highlighter at the bottom, which is a cream. But I'm just going to go in with the bronzer first. I'm a bit scared. Should I be using a bigger brush? Once again, all the ends of the brushes are very sharp, so on a normal bronzer brush you kind of use the end slash side to put it on because they're softer and they're like rounded, but these are very sharp, which is probably the biggest mistake in my life. Look how much fallout has just come out of there that I've literally just put this brush in, and there's like loads on the end of there as well. I'm going to use a bigger brush. I'm going to ruin my makeup, aren't I? I might try a sponge actually for this. I say after 3 different attempts of things. Oh no. That's bad. Look at that. You kind of need a very like fluffy brush normally anyway, because it doesn't then hold too much product and you can build up with it, and then it disperses it easier because it's like a bigger brush and finer bristles and everything. So this side's not too bad actually. It looks a bit of a mess, but it looks like contour slightly. But this side has just got over it. Like, I don't know if there's much more I could do, and I don't want to touch that side again because it actually looks alright. I don't want to then match it up. Okay, I'm just going to go into the blush with the same sponge. Why the hell not? Blow away all that excess. I'm going to go in, which is probably too much, but it's already a mess, so it's fun. Oh yeah. And even then, if I'm trying to like blend it in by rubbing it, or you know, use the brush doing the same way, it's just taking my foundation off underneath, so it makes my skin look even more. Anyway, we're gonna leave that there. Next step, I feel like it might be eyebrows. Let's do eyebrows. I'm actually going to use my Huda Beauty Smoky Obsessions palette and just use the medium dark brown at the bottom here. I think I'm going to go with this one. It's just a sort of flat, slightly long, squarish rectangle brush. I'm just going to get a little bit and dab it on the very end of the brush. Then attempt to put it through my eyebrows. See if I can save this mess that is the rest of my face. And it makes a real difference because this brush actually feels really soft on my eyebrows, which I think you might need a bit of a firmer brush to actually do your eyebrows normally, but it actually feels really soft. But maybe that's also just in comparison of the really rough brushes I had just now. I mean, honestly, my cheeks still hurt a bit. This actually turned out okay for my eyebrows. They're not as filled in as I normally like them, but I'm using a slightly less, like I say, firmer brush, so it's not going to be as impacting on my eyebrow. I'm going to start with this one at the top, which is a slight transition shade. And I think I might go with one of these, just because they're slightly like looser almost. Thinking this one. Still tapping off the excess. Maybe that's what I should have done for the cheeks. I suppose as well, a lot of the time if you get a new makeup brush, you kind of test it out, don't you? Like, or you expect it to be slightly different to other brushes you've had before. I know sometimes, like, if you get a new shaped one, or a new length, or even like the firmness or the thickness of it as well, or even a different texture of the bristles, does affect how your makeup is picked up and then applied to your skin. So I think it's always really important to kind of test that anyway. I'm just imagining this as like this was my makeup brushes that I had bought new or something. I'm testing them out. I know obviously it's nowhere near going to be to the quality of what an actual makeup brush set would do, but I'm just thinking about it. It's like, say if you did buy this, you went and bought this from somewhere as a makeup brush, you've still always got to test it out and see what effect it does have on your makeup before you can say, oh my god, this is the best brush ever. Because even some people, if they have like their favourite brush, they might use it in a certain way or use different products with it and they absolutely love it. With their skin it works really well as well. Whereas then with other people they might go and buy the same thing and not work too well for them. So it's always like a testing process. This is actually coming out okay, this colour. But I think it's because it's a lighter colour that it's not too... I say that as I've just ruined it. Okay, so that would do for that shade at the moment. I'm then going to go in with one of these other brushes and just pick up that medium brown I used for my eyebrows just now. Wow, that is a look. Here you can see it's kind of gone a bit patchy, like it hasn't fully then like blended over very well. You can tell it's quite scratchy and you can tell it's a bit of a scratchy brush as well for that. And on that side as well it's kind of done the same, like there's a blotch of colour here and then when I try and blend it out it is going but it's not going too well. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit of the darker brown as well and maybe mix it with a bit of the black. Not too sure, let's see. Just to take into that very sort of corner. As if I needed any more like blotchiness in that corner anyway, but that's the look I'm going for today. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with my NYX Foil Play Cream Eyeshadow in Beauty Buzz. I actually saw this and I thought it was so gorgeous. Just look at that. So it really gives like a nice wet look, but it actually just dry down as well, which is really nice. I might go with this brush. This is the smallest brush, probably the most firmest that I'm going to get. I'm going to go carefully into this. Don't want to take up too much of it because it's such a beautiful product. As you can see it's quite like flaky there, but I think that is because of the gold. Not so gold, but because of the foil effect that's in there, I think it is like that anyway. So I'm just going to go and put this in the inner corner to the middle of my eye. Like I said, I prefer to apply this with my fingertips anyway, so this is a bit of a different experience to me. Just look at it though, it's just, oh, it's gorgeous. It's so nice, it's such a nice product. There's a few other colours, like I had a coppery one, I think silver, I'm pretty sure there's a blue and a grey as well. But I just saw this one and I was like, this is what I want. This eye actually turned out a lot better. Maybe, yeah, it's actually turned out really nice, this eye. So that is the eyeshadow finished. I'm just going to go in with the eyeliner and mascara. Mascara, obviously, I can't really put on with the brush. I'm going to use my normal one, put the normal one on. But then I think it's going to be lips after that we're going to try and do. So, okay, so now I'm going to do eyeliner. And I'm actually going to use this Revolution Pro SFX face palette. And I'm just going to go into the black. I am then using, I think it's the same brush I used for the eyebrows. I don't really have that much of a thicker brush that I can use for an eyeliner. What's that? Maybe this one actually. It's slightly longer, but it feels quite stiff, so hopefully, oh, I've just ruined it. Hopefully, we'll see what we can get. I'm just going to dab a little bit in there. I think this is a bit more of a painty, waxy sort of texture. I did a wing. This is actually kind of going okay, weirdly. I am then picking up some of the, like, the foil, and then accidentally putting it back in the palette there, but I'll just clean it a bit. But I think that's normally from the foil anyway, that's why I tend to use just that, the brush eyeliner already. This is actually turning out really nicely, it's weird. Maybe I'm just a pro eyeliner now. Okay, so I'll add mascara in a minute, but last of all, I'm actually going to go in with my Huda Beauty in the colour Trophy Wife. I'm just going to take a bit off the end, using the same brush that I used for the concealer. I just think it might be a better lip brush. So that's the lips done. I might actually wait for it to dry and then go over with the lip topper as well. Okay, so lastly, I'm going to go in with the Lip Strobe from the set. I just used the same liquid matte lipstick. I'm just going with the Lip Strobe for that. And using the same brush, I'm just going to go in, take it off the end of the same again. That is in the colour Shameless. It came in the same set as the Trophy Wife as well. And I'm just painting that on the middle section of my lips so it catches the light. And I did do it at the top bit as well, but if my lips are a bit bigger then they probably catch the light, but they're like facing down, so it's really only the bottom bit. For the mascara, I'm going with the Maybelline Snap Mascara. I bought this on recently. I do think it does have more of a thinner texture in it than I do usually like in my mascara. I do like really thick, long volume in my mascara. This one is very nice. It's quite, it almost separates your lashes in a way that makes them quite thin and long. Whereas I prefer a bit more of a clumpy mascara. So this does do the job of what it says, it just, I prefer a slightly different type. Okay, so this is the finished look. It is a bit streaky, it is a little bit cakey. I don't even know, like, I'm going to take this off my face before I go out, most definitely. I feel like the blush and the bronzer are maybe a bit too much, but I think that's my fault for putting too much product on the brush. Maybe I should have anticipated that and put less on and slowly build it up. And once again, the eyes are slightly, not really blended in very well, and it's slightly scratchy looking from the bristles that actually using the brush. But otherwise I like the eyebrows, and the lips turn out good too. I don't know. It's a disaster for sure. So I had fun doing it though. It was nice trying something different out. And like I said, it's almost like getting a new set of makeup brushes and then giving them all a go. Okay, so I hope you liked my video today of me painting my face with paintbrushes. And hopefully I'll be doing more of these sort of videos in the future, because I really do like doing my makeup and finding different ways to do my makeup and different products to use as well. So hopefully I'll be doing a few different ones like this. Yeah, I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!